Hello friends, now we discuss the last small topic of our third unit under operations management, which is nothing but the service quality. As I already told you, rather than having the physical product in the hands of the customer, the more importance will be given to the kind of service it is going to provide. Everybody producing cell phones, different companies. Mobiles are being produced by so many companies, but if you go to market, only few companies will have, customers' opinion is concerned, good rating because of the kind of service they provide. The service might be regarding the performance of the phone, the service regarding the after sales of what you call service, the service regarding XYZ aspects of that particular product. You take cars industry. So many, actually, if you consider a realistic example, Chevrolet cars withdrawn from the Indian market because of what you call majorly the service problem. That company unable to compete with the Maruti Suzuki cars and as well as the Hyundai cars as far as the service provision is concerned. Hence, though the products are available in the market, the important characteristic for any product is maintaining of its service quality, which only creates a demand for that. Okay. Generally, the service quality means the entirety of outcome or experience. You take Apple phones. Apple phones are known for their quality as far as their softwares are concerned. As per my information, I think it's very difficult to crack the secret code of Apple phones software. Hence, most of the big shots, the people which actually having, many more transactions, we need to maintain secrecy as far as their, activities are concerned. They prefer Apple phones. Why? Because the quality of the service. So generally, according to the operations, how do you define the service? It's nothing but a perspective of service quality of service, that is to see whether the specifications of that service are met consistently or not. And one more way, how do you define the service? Service quality means the difference between the customer expectation of the service and perceived service. You see, this last definition, it's very, very important, insight it is providing. If that gap is less, automatically the sales of that particular product is going to increase. When the gap is more, the assured services and perceived services. Assured services from the producer. Perceived services would be from the customer. If this gap is lessened, automatically it is assumed that the service is having the quality. So in a single way, in a single sentence, how do you define the service quality? Which means the entirety of outcome or experience of that particular situation. Okay. To understand that service quality, there are very famous two models are there. One is cervical model and one more is Gronrose model. Cervical model and one more is Gronrose model. We discuss about the cervical models. Okay. What is a cervical service quality? It's nothing but the gap between assured services, and what are called perceived services. Okay. The cervical model proposed by Parshuraman and his team, Indian. The cervical model measures the gap between customer expectation and experience. Okay. Now you take, for example, as far as the two-wheeler industry is concerned, in 80s, in 70s, if you observe, at that time the two-wheelers are concerned in India, you will be finding, that Enfield, Royal Enfields or Bullets or Java, such kind of models. But latestly, if you take 4 or 5 years since, again those what you called vehicles have been relaunched, then the customers will have a kind of expectation. If you drive on the Bullet, you will have a certain respect on the road. Whether that kind of expectation is fulfilled if you purchase the vehicle now or not, it is going to be the experience. So whatever customer is having in the mind is fulfilled by the present experience. The difference is measured by the cervical model. So who proposed this one? Parshuraman. Okay. Why actually that gap exists, now we are going to discuss. Okay. Generally, the gap existence is of vertical based on these 3 points. One is inappropriate specifications of the service. When you see the any product brochure, the information will be there. Whatever is mentioned on the brochure, but same kind of specifications is not there in the actual services of the product, what will be there? That leads to what you call losing of the goodwill in the minds of the customers. That is happening. Insufficient resources to meet the expectations. Generally here, as far as this second point is concerned, the best examples are automobile industries. Maruti Suzuki cars are having, huge sales as far as the Indian market is concerned because of they have lot more service stations. But few company vehicles, if they want to take any what you call customer, they will be thinking because of what you call the kind of service stations. This is also one more very, very important observable point as far as the gap is concerned. And the last one, why actually that gap created is nothing but incorrect delivery of the service. That is also very, very important. Quality food is there, quality chef has been prepared by that particular item of the food. But the waiter who is going to serve to us, his behavior is not good. Absolutely, we will create a negative impression about that hotel itself, restaurant itself. What do you call that? Incorrect delivery of the service. So these are 3 very, very important observable points as far as the gap is concerned. Okay. Now according to cervical model, these are 5 what you call service quality gaps. The first one is what? Consumer expectations and management perception of consumer expectations. How you can understand this gap one? You will be observing bi-monthly, tri-monthly, half-yearly, you will be having changes in the products. The basic model is itself going to change, is going to added upon with new facilities, with new softwares, with new upgradation. Why actually companies will do that one? Because they will be getting information from various research resources about the consumer and what they are expecting from their product. It is essential. R&D department. Every company will have research and development department. If that expectation and the perception is not matching, the gap will arise. The second one, the management perception of the consumer and expectations and service quality specifications actually set. Here also there is a chance to create a gap. Orders will be one kind of product, but actually the product is going to be manufactured with a altogether different aspects. Creates negative impression in the minds of the consumer or the customer who purchases that particular product or service. The service quality specifications actually set and actual service delivery. Best example is a hotel. Okay. Branded hotels also sometimes lose the business because of the finally how the service is going to be delivered. Okay. The fourth one, the actual service delivery and external communication about the service. It's nothing but communication among the customers about the service, which also creates a gap. Based upon above four gaps, whatever unexpected gap arises, that becomes what you call the fifth gap. So this gap model actually helps to the so many organizations like insurance organizations, hospitals, big service industries, in order to analyze the customers what they are actually seeking from their products. A very famous model, this one. Okay. Cervical model. What do you call this? Cervical model. So when you are understanding the cervical model, the five aspects are like tangibility, reliability, responsiveness, assurance and empathy. These things will be studied. Tangibility. How far the services are going to be tangible in nature. The services which are going to be provided are going to be reliable. Best example is hospitals. How the hospitals are going to have much more inflow of the patients because of the goodwill, good impression of that particular doctor. Reliability, responsiveness, this is most important. If any product has been purchased, if it is not satisfying the customer, so the company should take that response in order to correct that particular product. Assurance, best example is insurance industries. So why do you insure our lives? Because to have the safety about future. If that assurance is not fulfilled by any insurance company, so many insurance companies are there. Lombard is there, LIC is there. Okay. What happens? It loses credibility in the minds of the customers. Empathy. More than sympathy, empathy is a great quality. Before giving service, one should feel that problem by him or herself. That is called empathy. So these are the five aspects really helps to reduce that gap for any service industry while providing the service to the customers. Okay. So till now what we discussed about the service quality, and we discussed about the cervical model, and 5 gaps and various aspects of what we call service quality. Okay. Now after discussing this, now we go for the last topic, what we call it, culture and innovation. Now we discuss about service culture. What do you mean a service culture? A culture where an approach for good service exists and providing the good service internal and external customers. Internal customers means here employees. External customers means direct customers. The culture is very, very important in any organization, whether that is a service sector or else what we call the manufacturing sector, where actually you will find appreciation for the what you called quality kind of things whatever you do. Okay, if that is not there, if that kind of encouragement is not there, very difficult to sustain in the what you called industry. Hence the service culture is very, very important. What are the elements of the service culture? Like service philosophy, employee role, policies and procedures, delivery system, training and management support. Okay. What is a service philosophy or mission? How actually you are going to provide the service? What are the norms you are going to set? Okay. And finally, the kind of objectives you are going to reach. All this comes under service philosophy or mission statement. Every organization will have the mission statement. Okay. Now the employee role. Every employee of that particular organization will be specified his or her role. The boundaries. Within that boundaries, how to showcase the maximum potential towards in deriving the good name for the organization is known as the employee role. And the rules and regulations, which are known as the policies and procedures, which also matters a lot as far as the service culture is concerned, and how the service is going to be delivered to the what to call the actual customer, what to call the delivery system. And finally, the training. Okay, how the employees have been giving training in what to call updation of the latest knowledge in terms of softwares, in terms of operating of the machineries. All these aspects falls under what to call elements of the service culture. And finally, the management support. So these elements falls under what we call the service culture. Okay. And after that, we are going to understand about service innovation. Innovation means development, improvement, finding altogether a new procedure. So when you go for innovation, the main initiatives in any organizations are going to be, okay, like the first one is a major innovation, the next one is the startup business, the third one is the service line extension, service improvements, style changes. What do you mean major innovation? The major innovation means altogether implementing a new method in providing the services. Okay. The best example is nothing but you take Amazon online services. This company, the kind of sincerity shows while delivering the product to the what you called hands of the customer, same kind of dedication, sincerity will be there when you are returning that product to the company if you find any kind of fault. What you call that major innovation. If this kind of two-way services, if they provide, automatically the business of that particular company is going to increase. Okay, which is considered as a major innovation. The next one is the startup businesses. So under startup businesses, actually the business will be having its what to call foothold in that particular industry. For that one, some other facilities will be added. Let us take railways itself. In the railways, for the free of cost internet data provision accessibility is provided, that becomes what you call the startup business. Okay. The next one is the service line extension. Here, the expansion of the services. The best examples are nothing but you take any hotel industry. They will be changing their menu based upon the seasons, based upon the what we call the locality, in order to attract new customers into their hotels. What we call that service line extension. The next one is the service improvements. Best example is banking. So you will be observing what is the change from the traditional banking transactions to now the people are preferring online transactions. Just you will go to your bank for one time to open the account. That's it. Even for that also need not to go. Everything, every transaction can be pursued online. Okay. What to call that? The service improvements. The last one is the style changes. Here altogether the way you are providing the service is going to be changed. For example, when you enter into a sweet shop, so with bare hands, if service is provided, you will be getting a negative opinion. Now, what is happening if you go to branded sweet stalls? They actually, forced to wear gloves because of the pandemic. So by that, what will be there? The impression will be, created in the minds of the customers. It leads to the good business. So these are all falls under what we call a service innovation. Okay. So what are the main initiatives in an organization? Like the first one is a major innovation, startup business, service line extension, service improvements, style changes. Understand? So this ends your entire third unit. Okay. Now in this unit, what we learned? We learned about the work study. Under work study, two aspects like method study and as well as the time study, and various methods and techniques. And after that we discussed about the service management. Under that we discussed about nature of the services, types of the service operations, quasi manufacturing, customer as a participant, value creation, service quality, and finally what we call the culture and innovation. So by this I ended the third unit. Okay. In the next class we start fourth unit. Under fourth unit you are going to understand about completely materials management, material requirement planning, MRPs. There MRP 1 will be there, MRP 2 will be there. Okay. And methods of vendor rating, value analysis. Okay. So these concepts will be covered. Understand? So now I am going to stop here only. Thank you so much.